Session 18 of the Formula 1 22 stream experience, round 11 in the Formula 1 season. We are career moding, baby, all the way through the F1 season, and this tonight is the halfway point. Round 11 of 22, it is the Austrian Grand Prix. By an interesting intersection of both adjusting the difficulty and perhaps luck. The last two race weekends have been a massive turnaround in fortune. For Skip, in the second Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula 1 team car, 2 race wins. 2 race wins. From what had been quite an unfortunate start to the season. There may be a turnabout in fortune coming. There may be an increase in difficulty again. So many things yet unknown. But one thing that we do know is there's a lot to get done with this evening, as always, as ever. So we should turn to that momentarily. 5 is the magic number. They're making an incredibly good point. Relicta would be a completely different game with an F1 car. Carnage, very difficult, maybe impossible to play. I mean, it's the first screen they show you. Would you like to see the item shop? Oh, all right then. What do we got? I have 2,700 pit coins. I can purchase a couple of liveries here, which is very nice. Also, look, goldfish stuff. Oh, I've already got this one. Arguably the only good bit of the whole thing. But I also have this. Look at that. That can jog on though. It's pretty ugly. What have we got up here then? We've got a couple of different liveries. Very nice. I'm fine with both of those. But what have we got over here? Oh, we love these.
Oh, you snooze! You lose!
Yes, man! They are all really quite rubbish. Look at this, look, fluff. Look at this emblem badge that you can have on your car and or uniform. It's great, isn't it?
Oh, you snooze! You lose!
Yes, mate. Yeah, okay. I kind of like this one. You know, once that's all purple and grey and black, that'll be pretty awesome. But it'll take me down to like not very much. Is that what I really want? Is that what I really want? Yeah, sure, why not? There we go. Fine. It's not what we're really here for, though, is it? No, what we're really here for is this lovely thing. Let's get stuck in. The situation currently, Skip is 7th in the driver standings with 60 points, ahead now of Fernando Alonso. Somewhere up in the top 6 in the driver standings would be the appropriate place for Skip to be, so we are getting there. Let's get ourselves back to team headquarters. Who doesn't want a zig-a-zig? Ah. It's a lovely treat. Whatever it is. What's this? L3. Says I have mail, apparently. What do I have? They've updated the driver stats to match real-world performance. Okay, let's apply that to existing career saves. Quite happy with that. And then we are back. So, refreshing our memory ever so slightly, there was a little bit of work on the car. Some items were ordered, were they not? That is being redone after a failure, isn't it? The front wing main plane. It's probably not the best place to look at the updates. It'll be here somewhere? Yes. Yeah, pretty much all of these items will be developed within the same week, which is after the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. Hopefully these are all a success. We will find out later on this evening whether they are. Things are getting quite close there when we look at the car's performance. Red Bull's still the most performant. Ferrari dropped back a little bit off Red Bull. And Mercedes are closing in quite nicely. We can see that the performance of the field is starting to bunch up, which may make things more competitive and pressurised as the rest of the season proceeds. We remember this, don't we? Things are starting to get interesting with the components. Several components fitted to the powertrain here, starting to wear through. Specifically, the MGUH at 64%. This may only see us through maybe a weekend. The energy store is now at 71%. That's going to affect the amount of energy that gets held in the battery, which means we won't be able to draw quite so much back on deployment. Could affect some exit speeds from slower corners. The turbocharger here 65%, and gearbox, we had to fit a new one. That was a strategy to help us in the race at Silverstone. So I will fit gearbox 3 before the weekend gets underway. So we may be looking at a change to the energy store maybe through the practice sessions, again to give us a good opportunity in the race. There may well come a point where we may need to swap over permanently. That's the one we really need to be keeping an eye on this weekend. Corporate, what's happening here? Helmet and emotes, that's very exciting. Nothing else I really need to worry about. So let's think about the Pirelli Hot Lap. Autocross, yeah, slaloms. I quite fancy a time attack, actually. How fast can we be? We'll be in the Ferrari F8 Tributo. Spicy meatball. So we should get stuck in on that. And because the sooner that's done, then the sooner we get into the F1 weekend proper. An opportunity for... oh, look at that. Only 100. Do you see that? There's a difference. So, now that's an interesting choice, isn't it? So you go for the autocross, you get more acclaim points. 1,000. Whereas time attack is only 100. See, now that informs a different outcome, does it not? Because now I want to do autocross because I want those extra driver acclaim points. It's a bit of a mystery, honestly. Don't think I can see that in there. No, I'm only at the beginning of level 11. It's a bit of a mystery to me how many driver acclaim points you would need to move from one level to the next. But 1,000 is way more than one louder than 100. So I think it'll be autocross. Fine. Then autocross it is. Meow. Here we are then. If I'm awful, I still get 250 acclaim points. Navigate through some carefully placed cones as quickly as possible in this agility challenge. Take care to avoid hitting or missing the cone gates, however, as these will incur time penalties. Did autocross at Silverstone last time out and was within a head's breadth of gold, but hit a couple of cones and just fell outside the perfect zone, if you like. So my challenge then is to get from beginning to end in around 2 minutes, right? Gold 155. If I can do it quicker than 155, brilliant. But if I can aim for about 2 minutes, I'm still comfortably in that silver range. And I'll be happy. I'd be happy with silver or gold. This may take more than one attempt, though. Okay, because it's like the first time. I don't even know where the gates are. Right, I've not had the opportunity to scope it out, rehearse, prepare, practice, whatever. So I'm doing it live for the first time, which can be a bit stressful. So let's whack ourselves into the full driving mode. I'll lean back in the seat here and bring the microphone over just a touch, and let's have the first attempt at Austrian autocross. Here we go. I really did miss that corner. Everything was great, but I missed that corner. Let's go. Come on. Okay. That's one cone brutalized. Bit slow through there for sure. Right, now we're going to get stupid slalom stuff. Ah, missed the gate completely. Having to stay remarkably close through there. It's kind of an unnatural line to me. Ah, cone! Right, so that's 20 seconds of penalties so far. I'm guessing the end here will be the start finish straight. So it's quite a short circuit, this, and not in a Johnny Five is Alive sense. I am quite slow here too. Be lucky to get silver here with the penalties. I think that's bronze. No, silver. I'm gonna have one more go, I think. I think one more go. That, again, right, you take those 20 seconds, take those 20 seconds away, and that would have been gold. Easy. Let's go. Let's try and keep it clean this time. We know what to watch out for. And away we go. Come on. Keep on. That's 5 seconds. Can we hold it to 5? It's a very, very tight set of gates coming up here. Right, remember, I'm going to need to hold a quite tight line on this left. Right, let's hold on. Ah, no, that's 15 seconds. Nah, 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 nah. Oh, nah, nah, nah. 15 seconds, that's too much. Five seconds I was prepared to work with. Okay, here we go. Let's hold on. Got a tight shimmy coming up here. Lost a bit of time taking turn 4 though. No, 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 no! Okay, 5 seconds. Five seconds we can work with. No more mistakes. That's it. Johnson & Johnson, no more tears. Baby shampoo. This is going to be close. Here we go. It's gold, baby. It's gold. Yes, man. Oh, that rousing celebratory music there. I deserve it. 1 minute 44 seconds. With only one gate hit, 5-second penalty. Now we are talking. 1,000 driver acclaim points. I am the best. Let's move on. Not much else to worry about here. It is now the race weekend proper. Season 1, the only season I'm doing on stream. You can go up to 10 seasons. Can you imagine? Just doing this now. 10 seasons worth. Mine would be dead by then. Let's get straight into the race weekend. 3 practice sessions, a maximum of 1 hour each. Probably use about an hour and a half or so of practice, I think. One-shot qualifying. And then a 50% distance race. Should take about 40 to 45 minutes without any flashbacks. So that's our evening. Let's get the race weekend underway. Let's go. I wonder actually if I hit every single gates cone, how terrible the outcome would be. Because there were what? There were the 40 plus gates. It's 200 seconds. Just always tugging on the job. Lewis, how's it going? How you doing there? He's not very talkative either. Uh-oh. We have a sprint weekend, folks. Throw the ordinary weekend structure out of the flipping window. It is all change. We've got only 2 practice sessions. Qualifying for grid positions for the sprint race happens after practice 1. Practice 2 is kind of going to help us for the main race strategy, not so much for the sprint. But look what happens to the weather. Practice 1 qualifying, practice 2 all sunny and lovely, absolutely chucking it down for the sprint, and mixed conditions for the race. Holy moly, we're going to have a very challenging weekend. Car setup is going to be particularly difficult, I think, because we will need to get that set up more targeted towards the mixed sprint and race conditions than we do for the dry. Let's have a look at the messages, and we've got a few. We'll start with the weekend preview, which is nothing. Francisco here with the zoomed in performance chart. Again, you can see that Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes are relatively close to each other. McLaren has had some massive improvement over the last 4 races. Managed to set themselves quite far apart from the Alpine team. And are, a threat from behind for Mercedes, but our eyes should be forward. Now, how about this then? Qualifying looks good, but there's a strong threat of rain during the race. Have a think about whether you want to make any setup changes to prepare for that. Bearing in mind we'll be in Parc Fermé after we leave the garage to qualify. That's right. Practice 1 is all we have to toy around with the setup, and then after that point it's locked in for the rest of the race weekend. Sprint is going to be wet throughout, quite light rain though, so maybe intermediates as opposed to the full wet tyres. We will have a very interesting race itself, because it would appear there we're going to have a dry to wet race. It will throw our usual pit stop strategies out of the window for this reason. In a fully dry race, each team is required to run more than 1 compound of dry tyres. So you couldn't have a team out there doing a one-stop race with 2 stints on medium. Not allowed. You have to have a different compound for one of those stints. So that's why you see a lot of soft to medium or medium to hard sort of race strategies if you were going on one stop. Here, as soon as you have any wet period in the race whatsoever, and teams would have to meet the conditions, change over to wet weather tyres, that requirement to run more than one type of dry compound is gone. So knowing that bad weather is coming may have an effect on how we plan for that race. Would you want to go all out on the softs and gamble that the rain will start falling just as the soft tyres are going to drop off, performance speaking? Or are you hoping that maybe a run on the mediums will mean that in the early period of when the rain starts to come down, you can eke out a couple of laps still on that dry tyre before you have to come in and change? Because changing too early from dry to wet tyres could mean that you overheat your wet tyres. You may need to make another pit stop after that. It's going to be quite challenging, I think, in terms of strategy. And because it is a sprint weekend as well, there's only practice one to get the setup nailed down. Okay. The wing mirrors update has been completed in time for this race weekend, so we will have slightly better aerodynamics than we have seen before. Very exciting. Sergio Perez then is the current rival. It's important that I continue to outperform them, so they're one of our biggest targets for this race weekend. Gearbox 3 is coming back into play. With 30% wear, that can probably see us through the rest. I wouldn't want to change stuff up too much at this stage. In which case, let's get the new energy store on now for this one. 64% MGU-H and 65. So they're going to wear at a similar pace. Hopefully that they will see us through the weekend proper. But yeah, moving back to gearbox number 3 and energy store number 2 for this race is a strategic pull, I think. Right, okay. Now we know what to expect. It's a bit scary, I'll be honest. There's a lot of expectation and pressure on making the most of practice 1. Let's go. Moo! I said moo, love. Oh, I've won nothing. Hooray! Oh, there goes a car.
All the cars now over the line. Let's see our top 3 again. Gip, Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However,
don't cry.
we'll be back shortly for more Formula 1 action.
Bum, 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 bum. Practice 1 in the bag. Track acclimatization done. And a little go at ERS management as well. And a bit of a qualifying dry run on the soft tyres. By doing that qualifying dry run on the soft tyres, you can see that Skip is fastest in practice 1 by half a second. With a 1 minute 8.108. Carlos Sainz, the nearest, in second with a 108.6. Charles Leclerc, third fastest, 108.7. Why is Lewis all the way down there in 109.5? My worry is that I have maybe, in trying to find a compromise between what should be the normal dry setup and whacking down a little bit of extra downforce, that I haven't gone far enough to accommodate for the wet conditions. So this speed here could be flattering to deceive. When it gets wet, maybe the other cars have more downforce and are going to be better than me. We won't know. I won't know. These changeable weekends scare the bejiggles out of me. But all I can do is take from practice 1 a feeling that yes, there's still a little bit of work to do on some of the turns insofar as braking point and entry speeds, but it is a circuit that I am comfortable with, so at least I don't have that to worry about. Unfortunately, it's a sprint weekend, so qualifying comes next. Let's have a quick look here at the messages. Is it another stock email from my manager? Yes! I have high expectations of you for this season. We're halfway through, love. So give it everything you've got. In particular, it's important to qualify ahead of Lewis. Beating your teammate is always the first measure of your performance. It's exactly the same flipping thing. But we get the weekend preview email here from Mark. Make sure you take care into what I keep calling turn 2, but is actually turn 3. Just can't get used to calling that little kink on the straight turn 2, you know? Anyway, take care, because you're well aware it's uphill. There's about as much traction on the exit as a non-stick frying pan, indeed. Also, I want you to pay attention coming out into the last corner so you don't run out wide and lose time. You can carry a lot of speed in, but you have to brake early, indeed. Let's just make sure all of this is set. Energy store, yes. 67 now on the MG UK, 68% on the turbocharger. Well, all right. Yeah, so qualifying then. It's coming up. Rich T. Rue is here. Hello, Rich. Dishing out some sage advice about how to drive. As learned from Disney's cars. Disney Pixar's cars, I should say. Let's make sure that that flipping microphone's in the right spot there. That's it. There we go. Good stuff. Welcome on in to you both. Hope you're having a smashing weekend. There is no football here. But what there is a qualifying session which I'm not sure about. I feel hopeful that I'll do well, but I don't think it's going to be pole position. We'll soon find out, though. Hey, that's me. Getting weighed. You've put weight on, lad. Stop snacking on chocolate. But I like it. On the softs, everything turned up to 11. This is it. No opportunities, I don't really think, for any last-minute tweaks. The car stuff here is pretty much set. I'm just going to have to hope that that's going to do it. Here's the thing, right? The way that the sprint weekend works is this. Qualifying happens very early, right? It happens on the Friday, where normally it would happen on the Saturday. On the Saturday is a sprint race, which is, you know, roughly half or a third, something like that, of the full length race distance. Effectively, in a sprint race, you're just on one set of tyres. In the sprint, it's going to be wet throughout. In the race, we're going to have a dry start, and it'll get progressively wetter as the race goes on. So, a terrible qualifying position will probably not be able to be redeemed in a wet sprint race. A brilliant qualifying position, like being fastest, could be undone in the sprint a little bit. You drop back a few places, maybe down to 5th or 6th, then you're having to start the race from that position. And now your race looks tough. The pressure will be on to try and take places in the dry, knowing that the rain is coming. Say a 3rd or 4th place in qualifying, and you go into a wet sprint race. Maybe you can take advantage of someone making a mistake and gain a position or two. Is that being up near the top means that if you lose, it might not be too painful, and you still have an opportunity to make a gain. But man, if you make a mistake in the sprint, it could really, really punish you. So let's get a 2-minute prediction here on qualifying. My reminder, of course, is out now. Place your bets with engagements. Here we go, folks. 4 different options for you. Where will I qualify here? At Austria. Fastest in practice 1. Does that mean I will be one of the fastest in qualifying? Will it be anywhere from 1st to 4th place, or from 5th to 8th, or from 9th to 12th, or the rest of the pack? As we've seen, it is a very quick lap. In practice conditions, it was 1 minute and 8 seconds. It could be 1 to 2 seconds faster here in qualifying. Those Ferraris did look pretty pacey in practice 1, so they could be throwing in a bit of a threat in terms of qualifying itself. So far, with a minute left to go on the prediction, most of the engagements have gone onto positions 1 to 4. There has been one sole bettor putting 10 down on positions 5 to 8. And here's why that's a great idea. What if I do qualify between 5th and 8th? That person who's put down just 10 engagements gets easily 1,000 plus back. What an incredible victory that would be for them. Let's have a little more hydration, and then I'll get myself set for qualifying. I do like a bit of fizzy drink. It's the bubbles, you know. What's coming up? Any minute now.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
It's that one. And as we think about that diagnosis, it's time for one-shot qualifying. The idea here is to get through it all in one go and not do flashbacks. If I really stiff it up, I'll redo the entire lap. But more than in the race, I really do want to commit to having just one solid, clean lap. It's time to go to track. Let's see who wins on the prediction. This is it. Could lose out in positions because of the car setup. I'm not really sure if that will be the case. We can see how fast the Ferraris are. That is a terrible turn 4. And I'm going to redo it. I'm all over the shop. All over the shop. Focus, man, focus. Let's go!
Excellent lap. We're very pleased with that.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Gip, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Up until turn 4, that was looking a bit worrying. I don't know how I managed to pull it back. But it was all about the entry and exit of turn 4, because the run out of turn 3 down the second DRS straight, I was looking at 5th, 6th, 7th, that sort of position. You could see the ghost in front. Somehow I beat them on braking, and then managed to just carry some speed through 4 and pull out of 4, and the ghost was stuck in the rear view after that. I'm a bit shocked. I'm actually a bit shocked by that. So how do things look then? It's a 1 minute 6.9. Fastest practice time was a 1:08. So just over a second faster. Max Verstappen, second, 107.2, 3/10 off. Charles Leclerc, 1/10 off. Max, Lando Norris, only a few hundredths of a second behind. If you look at the top 8, there is a second within them. The top 5, half a second within them. That is our starting position for the sprint. I'm going to have to be very careful in those first few laps, in particular in the sprint race. Max Verstappen will be alongside me on row 1. Charles Leclerc just behind me. Max and Charles are fighting each other in the drivers' standings. Very close in terms of points. So they'll be looking to have a gangbusters start and to get beyond my position on the grid. That might not necessarily be the worst thing. Let them have at it and then just hold third. That's still a good starting position in the race. You can do plenty from third. But if everybody gets a great start, I could get swallowed up by at least the first 5 or 6 cars. The main thing for me will be to stay ahead of Sergio Perez. And in qualifying, I have comfortably outqualified him. I've also outqualified my teammate Lewis Hamilton, who is 6th fastest. May have to change that difficulty a little bit. Currently on 55 after dropping down from 65 a couple of races ago. May want to put that up to maybe up to 60 at the end of this weekend. If it's another walk in the park, I think it is probably a little bit too simple and I need to raise the stakes a little bit. But that is how things look for qualifying. It's time to go back to the workstation and get ourselves set up for an oddly placed practice 2. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Let's pay out on that prediction too, by the way. Where will I qualify? It was a pole position. So, those of you who placed their engagements down on positions 1 to 4, congratulations. That was Giddy Fam and Rich T. Roo. Rich put down 40 engagements and one extra engagement. Who put down... It was Amberswan. Put a cheeky 10 points down on positions 5 to 8. And I have to say, in the lead up to turn 4, Amberswan was looking to be the winner. Imagine that. Ah, he's very happy, look. We will have another prediction betting opportunity coming up for the sprint race. However, we have practice 2 to come. 67 and 68 still. So let's go practice 2. We will have race strategy to do. And really not much else. So this could be quite brief. Could run ERS management again. Could run some things again, right? Just for the resource points. There's my...
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top 3. Gip, Sainz, and Sergio Perez. What an incredible practice session. The fun doesn't stop here though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
And that's practice 2. With the race strategy practice program taken care of, another little stab at track acclimatization did mean that the total amount of resource points have been grabbed. Also, a cheeky run on the soft tyres towards the end of the session put me back up to top slot here in practice. Although on the medium tyres, I was, I don't know, I think I was like 4th or maybe, no, I think I was 4th fastest. Something like that. Perhaps the only thing that might be shocking us here, outside of the ordinary, is that the two McLarens have got themselves in amongst it. Lando Norris in 5th, Daniel Ricciardo in 7th place. Max Verstappen, maybe sandbagging here? I don't know. Did well in qualifying. Will be 2nd. On the front row alongside yours truly in the sprint, but here maybe playing a different game, working on race strategy, finds myself down in 8th. It's a strange session, is practice 2 in a sprint weekend, because there isn't much you can take away from it. You've already seen qualifying. And you're kind of thinking that they're probably just getting themselves set up for the race aspect of things. Except we know that rain is coming. Practice 2 then is done. Give me them points. Look at that. Lovely stuff. Here come the discounts. Durability is going to help us a lot, I think, in the second half of this season. Oh, lovely. Making some good headway on driver acclaim here. Here we go. Any minute now. There we go. You took your time. What kept you? There he goes again. You know what you're doing. "12 laps for the sprint, 36 laps for the race." A lot of stuff to come. More racing than we would normally see the sprint weekend. And we'll be getting on with the sprint real soon. Let's check in on the messages. Mark loves staying in touch, does our Mark. "Hey Steve, how you feeling? As I said in the briefing, the car's looking good, and I think we have the pace for a decent result here. If you can get into a good flow after the turn 1 scramble, and make sure you hit your marks when you come into the pits, we should be all set. As always, keep an eye on your temperatures and other data on the MFD, and press the radio button, blah, 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 all the usual garbage." Right. Nothing else really for us to worry about. We just have the sprint to get ourselves set for. Keeping an eye on the rivalry with Sergio Perez here, the second driver of the Red Bull team. Currently 9 points to 4, the first to 30. Or the one who has the most points at the end of the 6-race stint will have won the rivalry. So far it's looking good for yours truly. Excuse me. Let's get ourselves pushed forward then to the sprint. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We are expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint. This will make for some tricky conditions for all the teams.
Yes, it will. No, nothing to say about the circuit then? It's got corners.
Let's run you through the drive the grid order.
Hey, Skip watch.
Exciting sprint.
Here we go.
Skip lines up on pole position.
Yes, ma'am.
Edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2.
Matching poses.
The rest of the grid we have Leclerc, Norris, Sergio Perez, and Hamilton. Sainz, Ricciardo, Ocon, and Kevin
Oh,
Magnussen.
well done, Kev.
Bottas, Joe, Fernando Alonso, and Gasly. Mick Schumacher, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Sebastian Vettel. Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Okay, I'll aim for it. Here we are. It's raining, not particularly heavily, so we could be starting on the intermediate tyres here. I think it is forecast to be like this throughout the entire session. It is a nice detail, actually. And, you know, you'd think in the year of our Lord 2022 that video game people would be on top of this stuff. But it is a nice detail to see that our team members are in their wet weather gear, not their dry wet weather. No, their dry weather gear, except for the cameraman, who is made of sterner stuff. He's not worried about the rain. He's also not worried about his equipment getting wet. But yeah, there we go. Five has noted that there is a hairdryer, almost but not quite. It's there to keep me cool, so I don't feel too warm in the cockpit. Although it's only 20 degrees, isn't it? So it's probably not that bad. So let's have a look at the strategy. I mean, it's 12 laps. We'll be on one tyre. There's not much to worry about. Yeah, and like for some reason, why would you come in and change tyres? No one does this unless you have an off, right? A big off, or you damage a bit of your front wing, and you have to come in anyway. They'll stick a fresh set of tyres on because that's what they do. But here we're just looking at 12 laps, about 15 minutes of racing on intermediate tyres. It's wet throughout. What is there to worry about? Not much. So I think we can lock that in quite comfortably and come back out here. And I will set up the prediction for today's sprint. All right. So I'm not going to put a win as an option here. I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving on what might happen here. Oh, Five has an opinion. You think that you think that maybe I should? Because I just sense that even though it's a short race, if I stuff up the start, then I am not winning. But okay, we'll put a win in. We'll put a win in. Five thinks that it might be on. Let's say then let's say a win, or positions 2 to 5, then 6 to 10, and 11 to 20. So 4 options. 4 options for you. Reminder to place your bets, folks. And the 2-minute prediction window opens right now. So, okay, where will it be? Will it be a win in the sprint? Will I finish first? If not, will it be between positions 2 and 5, or 6 and 10, or does something really bad happen and I finish in the bottom 10 places? Chip is asking if I've had any luck and hit the magic target of 300 yet. Let's check in with those stats. We're still at 297. We're locked in on the 297 right now. There will be, yes, there will be another prediction for the race. Yeah. We have the sprint and we have the Grand Prix. So we've got 2 races instead of 1 with this particular format. I think there are only 3 throughout this season, and we've had one already. I think it might have been. I'm really having to go on memory. I could look this up. I think it was Saudi Arabia, Austria, and Brazil. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll look it up. F1 22 sprint races. 3 events. No, it was Imola. It was Imola. So Imola in Italy, the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and Interlagos in Brazil. And there we go. So, prediction window has closed, and it goes thusly. 67% of the wager thinks it'll be a sprint win, and positions 2 to 5 think that positions 2. 33% think positions 2 to 5. I got that completely wrong. Do you know why that is? I'm preoccupied with the need to go to the toilet. And I'm wondering, do I do that now? Or do I hold on to it for the sprint, for the added sense of urgency, and then go for the pre-race P? I think I could probably put myself in a medically awkward position if I don't go now. So, in fact, now before the rain, the sound of that rain already, it just makes you want to wee. So, I think for the right reasons, I will go for a break now. So. I'm going to go away, run a little ad break, I think would be a good idea. And then when I come back from the pre-sprint P, we will have the sprint race. Very exciting. Yeah, actually, this is a really good idea. I'm quite looking forward to this. I'll see you in a few minutes. Yeah, that was a smart thing to do. I feel a lot better now. Okay, so we've got a sprint race coming up. And then we have the Grand Prix. So there's going to be a lot of racing coming up. Hopefully not too many mistakes. So, we have 1,000 engagements put down on a win and 500 engagements on a Positions 2 to 5 finish. Those are the stakes. Let's see which way the wind will blow in the race itself. Formation lap to do first, and then we'll get stuck in. Let's get started. Fingers crossed. I stand for a full house, etc., etc. This is the sprint race. Let's go.
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears. So go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
Turn 3 in the wet is going to be very difficult. The temptation to put that power down before you've completed the exit is strong. The car will just keep turning if you do that. Go on then, keep up. Oh, the parking, of course. Here we go. Oh, half a meter. Oh, come on.
Good launch as the race starts. Okay,
Damn
so
it.
that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient.
Here we go then, folks.
Watch those lights.
What was it? 12 laps coming up. Are we ready? Almost. Here we go. A lot of wheel spin.
Monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine, be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Oh, they've got so much more speed. Whoa! They have so much more speed. My my aero setup is an issue here, I think. Right, let's start the race again. Oh, it all looked so good, and then it looked all very bad indeed. I need to get better at these corners in the wet conditions. You can see how quickly they're closing the gap behind here. They definitely have more in the way of aero.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Straight line speed, they're definitely going to have over me, which is a big concern. Right, second place. It's going to be difficult to have an answer for Max. Worried about the cars behind closing up. There won't be any DRS in these conditions. So I'd rather this was just a race between me and Max than the rest of the field getting involved. Let's see what we can do about that. My hope is that I can do enough that Sector 2 is mine. Still within a second of Max Verstappen, just done the fastest lap.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point with the wear on the MGU.
Yeah, well, we're screwed on that front. We can't change anything. All right. 70, yeah. They're going to start having problems from about the 75% mark, which means our race is problematic.
Okay, clear.
Oh, something must have happened behind.
Right.
Safety car.
Delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Sergio Perez has been disqualified. There must have been a hell of a crash. So we've got a safety car here in the rain. On one level, this secures second place for now, but it does risk batching up the entire pack. Making it more likely to lose a place on the safety car restart. Yeah, that's right. No flashback ability for Sergio Perez. Disqualified though.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point with the wear on the MGUH. Overheating the engine will exacerbate the issue, so keep temps under control, please.
Right, I wonder how long we'll be out here behind the safety car. Those lights are still on, so we've got at least one lap left. Tyres are getting cold. Wish I could see where Sergio's car ended up, you know. These tyres, though, they are cold. Safety car lights are still on. If they are going to turn off, it's going to be coming up soon. No rubbernecking. Oh, but Mum!
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap.
Got caught napping.
Accelerates, remember.
Oh, no, don't. Right, here we go. Alright. Right. Now Max is effectively playing the role of the safety car. Safety car is going ahead. Verstappen will control the pace. And it's down to him at what point he starts to pull away. I would expect it's here. I'm gonna stay close to him. I want to grab him on the way into turn 1. Let's go. Game on. Halfway through the race. Can I catch up and pass Max Verstappen? That is the challenge.
Keep managing your tyres, manage your tyres.
Lando Norris pretty close behind. Don't quite have that same gap advantage that we had before the whole safety car debacle. Max is increasing his gap. This is not great. Right. These cars behind are worrying me. I need to get back up with Max. Close that gap. He's 2 seconds ahead here. Full race update.
Okay, you're sat in P2. Verstappen's ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 2.2 seconds. They're on a fresh set of inters. Leclerc behind. Less than a second separates you. They're on a fresh set of inters. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. All right, 6 laps.
Off. I'll do the full race update thing again in a minute. Have to race him. Full race update.
Second place, you're in second place. It's Verstappen ahead, and gap to the car in front is 3.1 seconds. They're on a fresh set of inters. Leclerc is behind you. They're on a fresh set of inters. Pit strategy complete. See these
2.8
to the end now.
It's going to be very difficult to get him now. It's all about holding on to second place. I will not get first back within the next 4 laps. That gap is too large and it's not closing.
And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
Look at him close that gap. Feeling pretty tense. Feeling pretty tense. Yeah, Max is too far down the road here.
Okay, clear.
The yellow behind, what's going on? Is it Norris? It's Charles Leclerc, he's retired.
Leading our teammate by 3.1 seconds.
Leclerc was the one who was on my tail not that long ago, so he's had a mechanical failure maybe. Looks to me like Max is potentially maintaining that gap ahead. He's not doing anything to extend it. Sainz is 2.4 seconds behind. Closing a little.
Yellow flag.
This will be where the retirement happened.
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
That will be done.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
But only 2 laps of racing. That's what the safety car can do. Scrappy pull away. Something happened behind this. There's some.
The turbocharger's on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
That's Pierre Gasly out now. Another incident. Let's all go. Everyone seems to be holding position now. .6 to Max head, fastest lap.
So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
Worried about what to do about the components. Don't think there's much we can do. There's Gasly. Green flag. That's someone on the phone to green flag asking for the recovery assistance. Right, not much left in the sprint for us to worry about. We're coming up to our final lap. Looks like second place is in the bag here. Max Verstappen fastest lap.
Verstappen's just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
See if I can pull back the fastest lap here right at the end.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
Slower sector 1. This is a rough turn 4. Green sector 2. I don't think that's going to help. Don't think I got the...
Brilliant job, mate. That's a fantastic podium. Super driving, really strong pace. I'm really happy. Well deserved.
Even though I lost the lead. That's it, hit him.
So let's see how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Let's move on to the constructors. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Well, that wraps up Sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
We have a sports desk update from Gilly Fam. The football has finished favourably. Congratulations to football. In other news, Max Verstappen, god damn it, he took that race win. But I did hold on to second place. That wasn't necessarily in the bag after that safety car. The whole field bunches back up again, making it incredibly difficult to hold on to your position after a safety car restart. Max did tear away, unfortunately, after the first couple of laps after that safety car restart of trying to catch up with him. It wasn't really working, and he was able to maintain the pace out front. He even stole the fastest lap in that race, although no points for fastest lap in the sprint. With the race win then, Max Verstappen first takes away 8 points. It's the top 8 who have points in the sprint. So it's 7 additional points for Skip and 4 points for his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Now, Sergio Perez was disqualified. Disqualified indeed. Be interesting to see why. But first, let's take a look at the highlights of that sprint race, just to see what went down and where. Wheel spin. Not a great start. Max had a very good start. Look at late reactions, a little bit of sliding. That's Max. Also, Lando there, really having a pop. Managed to hold on to first. This is turn 4. Bit of contact. Enough for everybody to live to fight another day. But here we go. Turn 9. And turn 10. And that is the lead with Max for sure. A lot of the field very close together at this point. Probably with some contact from behind there. Now there's Sergio Perez tussling with the Ferrari. I may have a look at the full replay to see what happened there. This is attempting to chase down Max. I think at this point was within 1 second. All the fancy camera angles coming out today. No doubt because there isn't actually much to see. Here we go, lap 6. Having to battle it out with Lando Norris there. Who then loses out to Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, who takes 3rd place. Running super wide. Lucky to hold on to it. And lap 7. Elbows out big time with the Ferrari into turns 5 and 6. Drag on the outside and then taking the inside line. And there's your race. Ended up not being too bad there. But here's what I'm interested in. At what point did this incident with Sergio happen? That's quite funny. I like that. That's fun. Lewis Hamilton moves from 9th to 8th. Mick Schumacher drops down the order at this point. Holding about 6 to 8 tenths to Max Verstappen at this point. Right, someone's just severely dropped down the order there. It's Perez. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at this. All by himself, I think. There wasn't any contact or anything. He spins on exit, and I think his car's beached. Yep. And then what's he doing? There's some indecision happening there. There we go. On the grass. Everyone's turned into a ghost. But look, there's cars on the grass, man. So there's nothing he can do. Look, you can see that car is beached. Somehow that was a disqualification. So how does this look from Carlos Sainz? So what Sergio's done there is he's hit the sausage curb on the inside of turn 3, absolutely walloped the throttle down, and through a combination probably too much power, wet conditions, and also the fact that you're not getting as much grip from the curb and the sausage curb in particular. This is the perfect illustration. For those of you who have followed me throughout the F122 journey, and you hear me talking about losing the rears and them continuing to want to turn, this is exactly what I mean. He's lit up the rear axle, but there isn't the grip. So it causes him to spin, but importantly, the floor of the car is beached on the sausage curb on the outside here. And so there is no contact being made. His rear tyres are not touching the ground. So he's got no hope. He's got no chance. He's got no hope of being able to pull himself away from there. That's what gets you your safety car. Here's Lewis Hamilton. He manages to get past this. See, he's come in quite deep. He's touching that sausage curb as well. Having to correct himself here. Cars who are coming through turn 3 now don't have the option to run particularly wide on exit because they're going to make contact with Perez's car. So that changes everybody's line in and out of this turn. Lewis is one of the last ones, I think, who gets to make it through. Who's next? Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. And look where he is. Right? He doesn't know what's happened ahead. He's at best, you've got a bit of a view on what's happened with Perez. Magnussen's attention here is on Lewis. Lewis, by the way, his front right is totally off the ground. It's lifted off the ground. That's why you can see it just kind of like stop. It's completely locked and it's off the ground at this point. Kevin's riding that curb deep. He's looking for a way maybe of getting Lewis on the outside of this turn. Lewis makes it. Kev can't. Now, explain to me, computer AI, why you would stop there. Right? Why would you stop there? Daniel Ricciardo's behind. And then, there you go, look. Valtteri Bottas is hugging that corner. So, no one else is getting in on the inside. Gasly's looking at the outside of Bottas. Zhou is securely behind his teammate. Alonso, Albon, Schumacher, and so on and so forth. Is Latifi the one who tries to get on the grass? Oh dear. Oh no, there's been contact. Latifi crunch in, hits Tsunoda, who thankfully doesn't make contact ahead. Now, it's Albon. He's reversed. He's decided to roll back. He wants to go along the inside here. I think the big issue that we've got is when you look at Kevin Magnussen. The AI controlling Magnussen's car is having a nightmare. Look at it. Look at it. Doesn't know what to do. And then the game decides to intervene. And at this point, the game's like, yeah, Perez is out. And in fact, that's where the safety car was called. That's where the safety car was called. You'll see as soon as Perez turns into ghost mode, you see that green light up ahead there? That's going to change. There we go, safety car. So the moment safety car is called, that releases this traffic jam. Pierre Gasly's already looking to go around the outside. Daniel Ricciardo, I think, has dropped back a little bit here. What a nutso set of affairs this is. So Albon's all about getting up on the grass. Well, maybe his arms are going all over the show. Incredible scenes. Well, that's nuts, man. Let's go back here for a second. Just before safety car gets called. Right here. That's not all the cars, is it? The photo mode has obviously limited the amount of cars we can see. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here at the tyres. There looks to be contact on the right-hand side, but none on the left. Anyway, that was fun. This isn't even the main race! Let's leave. We've got more to do. Very quickly, let's have a look in on the race director. Sergio Perez disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. Vettel and Alonso have warnings for colliding with Albon and Gasly in lap 1, and then a whole bunch of nonsense there happens because of Sergio's spin. And Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly both suffer mechanical failures, which means things don't look great for them for the race. No pit stops, of course. Let's pay out then on the prediction. Where will I finish? It is not a race win. It is positions 2 to 5 because it was a second place. Still front row start for the main Grand Prix though. Maybe an opportunity in those opening laps to take the lead from Max. Congratulations, Chip. 500 points placed down. 1,500 returned. Better luck next time to 5 and Gillyfam. I think we are done here. Let's move on. Remarkable. Alright. We've still got a big race to do, so we need to push on. Fascinating that was. Here we are. Okay, gambles are coming up here, I think. So, pre-race, some more chit-chat. He's asking me about breakfast. The cars around you are going to be looking to pounce on any mistake. Keep your head in the game and don't give them that chance. Now, here's the thing that we have to worry about, but part of the decision that I was thinking about with the car setup. Maybe I could get through. We are getting warnings on the MGU-H and the turbocharger. If I change them at this point, there will be grid penalties. So the hope has to be that for the race coming up, these components hold on. It's not the gearbox, okay? So it's not going to flat out affect how we pull away out of corners. This is about energy recovery. And then releasing that through the turbocharger. This, then, may be a bit of an issue. Later on in the race, in wet conditions, maybe this won't matter so much. So maybe you have to think about pushing hard in the opening laps and hoping that we can give the powertrain a bit of a rest as the race proceeds. Any change here, I think, is a minimum of... it'll be a 10-place penalty. The difference between a points finish and not a points finish, I think. I think I have to commit to this. We're looking at how many laps? It's 30 plus, isn't it? 36. it's fast. So you're looking at... Excuse me, you're looking at a lot of... At least it's not hot conditions, right? If I start second and hold second for most of the race, even if problems develop later on, I could still walk away with some points. If, however, I make changes and I start further back, I'll have a fresher set of components, but the pressure increases to make positions in the first half of the race before the rain sets in. Why does this have to be so difficult? I'm either putting faith in the components that I've got or changing the components and then hoping I can charge forward. When most of the hard work, you know, in qualifying and even in the sprint has meant that I've been able to secure a position up the front. Do I give that away or not? Because we were in the mid to high 60s, I think, for both of these components before we started this weekend. So maybe by the end of the race we would be 77, maybe up to 80%. We know once we hit 75, things will start getting a little unpredictable. I don't think we're looking at failures. At most we're looking at a reduction in energy storage and deployment, right? In the it's a compromise either way, and it comes down to whether I would want to give away the second place start that I have, and I don't. So I think I'm going to gamble on the components that we've got, and we'll see how this works out. Could be a mistake, but I don't know. I think I'd rather start P2 than start like in 12th or even further back, depending on how many changes I make. So let's go then to the race.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix.
Indeed.
The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Skip completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Norris, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Magnussen, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda, Bottas, Latifi, Alex Albon and Vettel, Stroll, Perez, Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Guan Yu Zhou, Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations...
Loads of drivers taking penalties.
Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Let's hope so. It's sunny and it's dry now, but we are expecting a change in conditions a little after the halfway point of this race. That may well turn both our strategy and the strategy of other drivers upside down. No one's in their rain gear. Everyone's looking nice and toasty and warm. Let's have a look at the race strategy. So we're looking at a projected strategy of a one-stop race running from medium to hard tyres with a pit stop on lap 16. It's the fastest of the two projected strategies here at 40 minutes and 7 seconds. The alternate strategy is a two-stopper with a very brief stint on the softs, gambling then on being able to make good positions and much speed early on before changing over to the mediums and then onto the hards. Sounds tempting. Here's the problem. Whatever you gain on those softs, if you then come in for a pit stop on for the mediums and no one else does, how much life are you going to get out of those medium tyres before the conditions change? It's a big gamble on those softs paying off. Otherwise, what you're looking at here is if you see where the rain is predicted to come in, it's sort of after pit stop 2. You really would want to not find yourself in a situation where the mediums are falling off. You'd have to come in for the hards, and then maybe 3 laps later you're having to come back in for the intermediates. You're already having one stop more than others. Question is, though, on a default strategy, you would be making 2 stops anyway. Looks like a situation where you're out there on the mediums, you have to come in for a set of hards. Maybe you get 5 laps, 6 laps. And then you have to come back in again, making it effectively a 3 stops. If you could operate the 2 stops, sorry, if 3 stints. If you could operate a 2-stop strategy where you are gambling on that 3rd stint being on an intermediate tyre. Problem is, when you look at that, it gets really wet. So at what point would an intermediate be ineffective? Could you find yourself in a situation where you're out there on the inters for a little bit, then it starts raining really heavily and the intermediates don't clear the water and you have to come in for full wets? It's a little bit too unpredictable. And I'm having to make a decision before any of this kicks off. What I can do is have a look at the personalized strategy based off the race strategy practice program. Well, no difference in terms of the pit window, but we do know that it is slightly easier on the tyres. Let's have a look at the alternate strategy and then run that through as personalized. So that pushes the window over a little bit there. Lap 8 on the softs, lap 14 instead of 13. If you were really bold and you knew that the rain was coming and you knew that that meant that the requirement to run 2 different dry compounds was gone, would you not go medium and then medium again and then onto a wet tyre? High risk, because what if it doesn't rain enough and cars are out there just about surviving on dry tyres? That would be way harsh. Ty. Let's look at the one stopper here. We have to race this first half of the race as if it will be dry throughout. I don't think you can look at hedging your bets for having an advantageous window for a pit stop or something for when the conditions change. Look at that big drop off there. Drastic stuff. Massive drop off there on the soft tyres. The most you would get on the softs would be maybe 9 laps. Concern then would be, right, here's the thing, right, like 16 would be alright. You run a little bit on the hard tyre and you anticipate a change of weather. You could pull the mediums back a little bit.
Thank you for your continued support.
Hey, Hendy, thank you very much for the tier 1 for 6 months. Flippin' heck indeed. Thank you so much for your support. This might be, Hendy, the most painful experience I've ever had in F1. Trying to nail down a strategy for a dry race, which we know is going to turn wet. If you went on the softs and you gambled on the hards after that, right, came in on lap 9, and then everything after that point was on the hard tyres, and you're just hoping and praying that before those hard tyres die a death, you get to change them to the wet weather tyres, and then all bets are off. Looking at this one, What if you did? What if you did 2 softs, right, and then a medium, and then from that point you're just hoping and praying that the wet weather tyres come in? What if you did that? Feels very high risk though, doesn't it? We are on the softest of all the compounds as well, so those softs will have the least life out of any soft tyre you could use. Trying to overthink the strategy in an attempt to get one over on the game does run the risk of making things even worse. And I'm already coming into this race with two components, the turbocharger and the MGU-H, which are getting close to end of life. So if I was operating with that, and I was operating with trying to force a different strategy out on the tyres, that's too many variables I'm introducing. When I don't know what other teams are doing, and I don't know at exactly what point the weather's going to turn. And at that point, you would have to argue, wouldn't you, that the conservative tyre strategy is probably the one to go for. You know that there will be a decent amount of the other cars around you doing exactly the same thing to try and cover each other off. None of them would be thinking, well, we'll go and do this wild tyre strategy, because they know that would drop them 10 places, and 10 places that they might not get back. Silverstone proved that, actually. So talking that through, I think, has led me back to a more conservative play, I think. Did I ever play Forza 2? No, I've not played any of the Forza games. In a world of getting to work easily, this adds difficulty. You were like, driving to work? Could you imagine driving to work in an F1 car? Jeez. I think then, after all of that chit-chatting, it has to be stay with a conservative strategy here. There's too much other stuff that's going to happen, potentially with the car, potentially with the weather conditions, potentially with other things happening around you. We saw how fraught it got during the sprint. That we are maybe in a better position to react with this than to try and commit to something off base and then even more weird things happening. So let's lock that in. Projected. Default strategy, a one stop from medium to hard, knowing that the weather will change. Locked in, back out. Now it's time to gamble. Where will I finish in the sprint race? I'm going in bold. This could be bad. It's a 5-minute bet. Get your engagements ready, folks. Here we go. At the race in Austria, the Grand Prix, will it be a race win from second on the grid? Will it be a podium finish, so second or third? In fact, I'm cancelling the bet because I can see I've done 3 to 6. Idiot. Right, deleting that. Sorry, delete and return points that no one had gambled, I don't think. Massive typo. Flippin' heck. Should we try that again? Yes. So let's say podium. No, sorry, win. Podium, 2 to 3. In fact, I'll put that in brackets. And then... so that would be 4 to 6 in the top 6. So Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes would be... We would expect to see them there. or the rest. So that's anywhere from 7th to last. That includes points finishes, by the way. I think that'll end up being quite a foolish suggestion. We'll see, though. Long old race to go. Okay, new prediction. There it is. With numbers in brackets to make sure I've not made any mistakes. 5 minutes for this. I do not need the lube, but I am going to maybe top up a beverage, sneak in a cheeky jelly baby, and then come back for the race. When I return from this break, we will have 36 laps of the Austrian Grand Prix from second on the grid, carrying somewhere in the powertrain, and with weather conditions set to change about 2/3 of the way through this race, it's going to get rather sweaty. Stick around, I'll be back pretty soon. Okay, I've topped up my water. How many jelly babies have I got left? 1, 2. Right, I've had one now. There's a green one and a black one there left. I could probably reach for maybe 1 or 2 of those during the pit stops. Ho, 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 most exciting. Right, okay, quick swig of the water. Oh, got a bit of a leak there. I didn't screw that on quite right. Now I have a round and slightly damp thigh. Ladies. Right. Just, there we go. Right. Formation lap to come. 2 minutes or so left here on the prediction. Everyone's in on the race win at the moment. I would strongly suggest putting some bets further down the order there if you have yet to do so. You may well end up getting a nice payout. We shall see. For now, with the strategy locked in place and all of the dramas still to come, it's time to get into race position, formation lap, and then the race itself. Let's go. Best of luck.
Okay, so everything looks good on the power unit cycles, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature. So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow, that sounds quick. Oh, I've got to do parking again. I just remembered. Oh no, me, oh no. Not parking. Ah!
That's not an ideal place.
I'll never get it done.
You're going to need a good launch.
I'll never get it done. Alright, this is it then.
The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Yeah, we're pretty much there, folks. Need a really strong start here.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Okay, that could have been a lot worse. But we need to do a lot of work now to stay up front and not get swallowed up by the cars behind. "10 to 15 minutes then until the rain starts." One more lap and then the DRS will kick in. Max Verstappen fastest lap so far, a 1:12.8. Already Lando Norris is closing. Is this the difference in aero? So hard to really know for sure. Already Sainz is a second ahead.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point.
Yeah.
On the MGUH.
Stop telling me. I'm very aware of it.
So keep temps under control, please.
I'm not sure how I do that.
DRS is being enabled this lap.
Fastest lap.
DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And here we go. Right. Drain my battery. So I don't have that to help. Coming out of the slow corners. So I will need to spend a little bit of time on the recharge. But we're staying close enough to Carlos in the Ferrari. Whether it'll be enough to get past him, I'm not sure.
Gap to your teammate behind is 3.5 seconds.
Good run through turn one. I think a fair battle through turn three. That is a pass.
Good job, nice overtake.
I wasn't expecting to get it there, but I'll take it. Right, now we need to close in on Max. He's got the fastest lap. And he's 1.3 ahead.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
It's a very, very poor performance through turn three. That means Sainz is going to close up. He's going to have the drive out here. Pretty full on racing. And we're back in this again. Close that gap nicely under braking. He's not going to fall for the same trick twice. I don't think I'm close enough. Yeah, that was a dumb mistake. Let's stay behind him. We've got another DRS zone out of this turn. Ooh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Nor that. Come on now. Let's have a good fight. A good, clean fight. Whoa, not like that though. Oh, geez, it's so difficult. Come on. I'll get DRS, but not close enough to do anything about it yet. This just gives Max so much of a lead, though. Oh, terrible, terrible. That was a bit rude. I'll have it. Stuck my nose in, made it work. It's 74%. Right. Sainz is now 1.2 behind. Verstappen 2.5 ahead.
You're pulling out a second a lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
Full race update.
Okay, you're sat in P2. Verstappen's ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 2.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, Sainz is behind you. Our gap behind is 1.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. Your pit window opens in 8 laps time. 29 laps to go.
There's a lot that can go right, but also a lot that can go wrong in that time. I'm losing speed. Got to catch up on Max. Driver in front.
It's Verstappen ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 2.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, their tyres are...
Driver in front.
Verstappen's ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 2.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, their tyres are 7 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Time last lap was a 1:10.3.
the rhythm for a bit then. 2.3 ahead. He is slowly creeping further away. Need to keep Carlos Sainz more than a second behind me. It's on the straights that Max is starting to pull away.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
Will we be changing onto tyres at the next pit stop? Oh, well, that's just inviting a spin, isn't it? Depends how heavy the rain comes down and how quick. No huge difference over the course of a lap, really.
Right, we're seeing a loss of power from the turbocharger now. Loss of power on the turbo.
Well, we'll just have to make the best of it. You can see it getting quite misty here by turn 3. Must be the direction in which the rain is coming in. .5 seconds ahead is Max, and Sainz is about 2 seconds behind. Teammate status.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.6 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're currently 5th, and the time last lap was a 1 minute 10.7.
Faster than me right now.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
I'll do what I can. So holding on to second place at the moment.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Good. If I can hang out on these tyres a little bit longer, that'll be good. .4 to Max. Carlos Sainz 1.9 behind. a slightly slow turn 3. It looks like Sainz has closed in. And that's Mick Schumacher out.
Pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
So some mediums starting to give out. 2.5 to Max Verstappen. Everyone seems to be in lockstep at the moment.
Caution, caution.
Is this where Mick is off? I think so.
Okay, clear.
Waiting to see exactly when that rain is starting to come down. Right now, not really. It's in the air though, you can see it. Tempted to extend. So far the mediums are doing alright. God, it's very tense. Max definitely is able to extend on these straights here. Bit of a mistake. Norris has taken Carlos Sainz.
Okay, we're hitting the rated limits on the MGUH. The power unit is going to be more prone to overheating. Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
I'm not going to. I'm going to extend.
The rain's going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least.
And here are the first drops.
Okay, be mindful of the conditions. The track's getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early.
Max is in the pits. No one else is. I'd rather be on the mediums in these conditions than the hards. It'll take a little bit longer to warm up. It's not Inter's weather yet.
Gap to your teammate behind is 4.8 seconds.
And that's DRS disabled. Ooh, hello. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. But now rejoining 7th. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm at the mercy. No other car has pitted. This grip is going to worsen. Do you stay out here on old mediums for the crossover point? Is that what other teams are doing? Weather information.
And there are 18 laps of fuel remaining now.
No. Weather report.
Okay, the forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay.
Okay, the gap behind is 3.6.
I might pit this lap.
Strategy available on the MFD.
Here we go.
Confirmed.
Yep. Now we're coming in and we're changing onto the intermediate tyres. It was worthwhile staying out. And I think a lot of other cars are going to do the same. Max.
All right, we're getting very close to the crossover
There we go.
point now.
Yeah.
Stay out if you have the pace, but as soon as you hit the limit, come in and we'll put the...
This is it. Intermediates. A great stop too. Let's go.
That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
One of the first out on intermediate tyres. Max has already made a stop. That's him throwing his race win away. Lewis Hamilton has stayed out.
No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
It's going to be a bit of a rocky beginning to this. Okay, second place. Signs behind on Inters. You don't have to worry about Max, but there are plenty of drivers we do have to worry about. Lewis can't be out on those mediums for very long. Must be pitting. Yep.
Okay, Lewis is in for his stop.
Once I get past him, that is me in the lead of the race. Long way to go. Lap 21 of 36. Staying out on the mediums was definitely the right call. That's right, Guinea fam. Nothing can possibly go wrong. We now have to worry about whether we're going to get caught up, whether the issues with our turbocharger and the MGU-H is going to make life difficult for us in the second phase here. There's a lot that could still cause us problems. This is where I'm hoping that the decisions I made with the car setup start to kind of come forward and pay off. We'll see how this goes. Carlos Sainz then is the driver behind. 3.1 seconds. Nick's site is in. Hello, Nick. .3, 3.4 seconds.
Okay, conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least.
Let's see if we can hold on to it on the intermediate tyres. If we have to change over to the full wets at some point, that really throws it all up in the air. Driver behind.
That's Sainz behind you now. And the gap behind us is 3.2 seconds. They're on a fresh set of inters. Their tyres are 3 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1:15.2.
Long way to go. Extending ever so slightly. I think over the next 2 straights, though, that's when Carlos starts to close the gap.
Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 3.1 seconds.
Yeah. .6 seconds. Good sports commentary there from Gilly Fam. Good work there, sir. Whoa! Okay, let's have a second attempt at that turn, shall we? You're tense, Nick. I need a new shoulder. I'm carrying so much tension in my arms right now. Science has closed the gap. Just a little bit. I need perfect lap after perfect lap here. The race win is really important. Getting off the racing line like that isn't going to help. Making mistakes isn't going to help.
And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
Yep. I think it's raining heavier. Losing the grip now on the intermediate tyres. Just a little bit. Oh boy. It's definitely raining heavier in this part of the circuit. Here we go.
Our gap behind is 4.0 seconds.
Okay, good. Extended. There we can see on the bottom right hand side of the screen the MGU H and the turbocharger lifespan getting ever closer to 80%. Coming up to back markers up ahead. We'll see some blue flags soon. Also, we'll need to start conserving fuel at some point. Tyres are good. Settling on the fuel screen here. Need to be mindful that in conserving fuel, I don't invite Carlos Sainz to catch up. Warning for exceeding track limits there. That was a little egregious. Sainz is dropping back a little. And it's Nicholas Latifi in the Williams up ahead, who sometime in the next lap or so will have to pull aside as I close in on him, as he's in 19th place. And we are not racing for position. And there he goes. Thank you very much. Now that traffic can be Carlos Sainz's problem and not mine. So now, with 8 laps left, it's about keeping this thing together on the circuit, managing the pace, and holding on to the lead. This will be tricky to do. If fuel management becomes more of an issue, or if we lose the best of the intermediate tyres, we find ourselves in a situation where the car behind, currently Carlos Sainz, is able to start closing that gap. Close to 5-second lead now. So while this is going on, let's get a full race update.
You're in first position, front of the pack. Okay, Sainz is behind you. Okay, the gap behind is 5.0 seconds. They're on old intermediates. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, 7 laps to go.
7 laps left. Should be enough life in the tyres. We'll see how we get on. .1 seconds now to Carlos Sainz. I think at the end of all of today's proceedings, I will increase the difficulty again. Maybe not by 10 difficulty points, but maybe by 4 or 5. That's not to say this Austrian weekend has been a walk in the parks.
The rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so.
Walk in my parts. What?
Finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
That's fine. Max Verstappen still has fastest lap. That was at the beginning of the race while on medium compound tyres. I don't think we're finding ourselves in a position where it's it's going to get back to dry before this race is done. So the fastest lap point is his, which will no doubt help him in his battle with Charles Leclerc for the Drivers' Championship.
Just 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, fuel isn't a problem now, that's good. Yeah, this was still a challenging weekend. I was concerned about the engine components. I was concerned about the tyre strategy. I was worried about losing places in the sprint and the race. Turns out I lost 1 position in the sprint. That was to Max Verstappen. And I've gained it back here in the race by staying out on the older medium compound tyres waiting for the rain to fall. Whereas Max came in and changed over to a second set of dry tyres from mediums to hards.
Okay, be aware, bet the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Feels like it's raining heavier now on this back part of the circuit. We may be seeing different areas of the circuit have different intensity of rain on them. I think as we come over towards turn 3, it's not raining as heavily. Like here, I think it's lighter and drier. And then as we get towards turns 9 and 10, before the start-finish straight, I think it's heavier there. Might even be able to tell when we get there. Carlos Sainz is starting to close in, and the intermediates are starting to lose some grip. Need to stay on the racing line as much as I can. Oof. My right shoulder is killing me. Just so tense, carrying so much tension.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
Okay, here we go. So this is the important thing. Carlos Sainz is now 3.7 seconds behind. He was 5 seconds behind. The last few laps are going to be pretty tense, just trying to hold on to the lead. If he's closing at a rate of knots. Like that, there you see. There's starting to get those grip issues.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy.
Yep.
And the gap behind us is 3.6 seconds.
We're trying to conserve some battery deployment for any defense that I might have to do. But with 2 laps left, I think I can just start using it now. 3.5 seconds behind is Carlos Sainz. Driver behind.
That's Sainz behind you now. Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 3.6 seconds. They're on old intermediates. Okay, they've done 15 laps on those tyres. Time last lap was a 1 minute 17.5.
Okay. 2.7 seconds. Last lap. Let's make it count. Staying out on the medium tyres, waiting for the rain to fall was the absolute correct strategy call today. And I think that's made a difference between winning this race and maybe finishing 5th or 6th. Max Verstappen started this race
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Whoa, look at that. Lots of rear wheel spin there. Let's get ourselves back. Straighten up big time. There we go. Now apply the power. Max started in first and held first place comfortably until he came into pit around about, what, lap 15, lap 16? It's raining heavier here for sure. Sainz 2 seconds behind here. Getting a bit bold running wide there. We are coming to our last 2 turns. And this is going to be the 3rd race win in a row for Skip.
Anyone want to go again?
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So I forgot during the pit stop to enjoy a jelly baby. So during those celebrations, I had the last 2. I think I earned them. Almost, but not entirely. A full run of points. Finishing second instead of first in the sprint meant that Skip scored 7 instead of 8 points. A race win, however, in the race itself, 25 points. Could not get fastest lap. Could you imagine? The clean sweep, that would have been incredible. Didn't quite happen. However, managed to turn things around in the race itself. I've said it twice, I'll say it again. The decision to stay out on the medium tyres was the right call. I wasn't the only driver to do it as well. There were several cars behind that were doing exactly the same thing. Did not fall into the trap of following in Max Verstappen thinking now is the shot. No, stay out. fact that other cars behind were doing it as well boosted the confidence that that was the correct call. When it comes to the prediction in the race, where will I finish? Well, it's kind of good news in the end, isn't it, really? That I did win that race, because the only people who put any engagements down put it on the race win. Let's pay that out. 5 is a magic number, and Giddy Fam, you get your points back. Congrats. Had they lost out there, no one would have won those points. They would have just been burned, KLF style. So, from second on the grid, Skip finishes the race in first place with 1 pit stop. Takes 25 points. Is it true? The only car to make 2 stops? No. Alonso did the same thing. That's interesting. We'll talk about that then. Max Verstappen from the lead took that extra pit stop and they finished 5th. Let's also mention for a minute that even though the MGU-H and the turbocharger were wearing thin, they did not horrifically affect performance in today's race. So that was a good sign. Carlos Sainz finished in the end only 1.3 seconds behind. That's fine. Those last couple of laps seemed to be quite tricky, and I don't know whether that was a combination, maybe it was, a combination between the intermediate tyres starting to lose the best of their grip and maybe the rain getting a little bit heavier. It certainly seemed a little bit heavier in places. My teammate, Lewis Hamilton, made up 1 position from 5th to 4th place, with thanks to Max Verstappen dropping back. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz also hop up 1 position. Daniel Ricciardo makes 2. Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc, both drivers who suffered in the sprint race and therefore finished the sprint race way back in the order. They managed to have very, very good races between them. Sergio Perez from 16th to 7th, and the driver of the day, Charles Leclerc, from the back row, 19th, finishes in 8th and takes away 4 points. 4 points for the Haas team, by the way. Kevin Magnussen did well in both the sprint and takes an additional point away from the race itself. Let's check in on the race highlights then and recount our glorious victories. The race started dry. A bit of wheel spin, but nothing too horrific. Carlos Sainz gets a good pull away, but Lando Norris here, again, very threatening on the inside. Quite a lot of contact there in turn 1. Let's just go back and take a look at it, because there was a lot happening here. Max Verstappen has a nice clean run into turn 1. Carlos Sainz is pretty untroubled as well. And then we've got 3 cars in a line, with Skip in the middle, Lewis Hamilton on the right-hand side, and Lando Norris here on the inside on your left. A very, very sharp coming together of 3 cars into 1 corner. And Carlos Sainz just blissfully doing his own thing in front of us, making things additionally threatening. So there's contact between yours truly and Lando Norris there on the inside. Lewis comes in quite close. I think he might just avoid contact. But Lando Norris definitely gets the worst of the curb on the inside. I get to carry a little bit of additional momentum. And now I'm charging to the outside line, sort of pushing Lewis off here as well. He knows that he has to slow down. So at this point I think I've managed to get out of there okay. To come out of turn 1 in 3rd place is fine by me. I said so at the time, and I'll stand by that. So the challenge, of course, at this point is to close the gap up ahead without bringing the cars behind me along for the journey. And I think that manages to work out pretty much. To the end of lap 1 and into lap 2. I'm looking to hunt down the cars in front. Lando is still quite threatening there behind. DRS has yet to be enabled, so it's imperative that I try and stay 1 second ahead of the car behind. Not a bad run there, actually, through turn 3. Didn't always get that right, but a couple of times when it really counted, I managed to hold it together. Here's turn 4. One that I've struggled to keep consistent on. The gaps seem to be sort of maintained here. And then we move to lap 7. So there were a good couple of laps here where I was battling with Carlos Sainz. Run a little bit wide there. On the exit of 3, pick up the DRS though. Charging in on turn 4, being very rude there, but it was necessary work. And then nothing of any significance happened until I crossed the finishing line. So the battles there in the dry, including getting past Carlos Sainz in the dry portion of the race, was super important. Effectively, as you know, as we were talking about before the race started, needing to make the moves in the dry was essential. Didn't get past Max, unfortunately, but by getting ahead of Carlos Sainz and then staying out of the medium tyres when Max came in and made a pit stop, made all the difference. Fernando Alonso was the other driver who made a second pit stop, and he started in 7th place and dropped down to 15th. It was not the move today. Having a look here in the situation with the race director, did everyone start on mediums? Yeah. So the 2 stoppers went from medium to hard to inters, everybody else from medium to inters. That definitely was the move. Incidents. Lando Norris got a ticking off for a collision with yours truly. Charles Leclerc got a ticking off for a collision with Vettel. I got a warning on lap 27 for exceeding track limits. Only did it once, so no penalty for that. And Mick Schumacher finished the race early with a mechanical failure. To the standings. Where do things level out after round 11? Max Verstappen in the lead with 223 points. Charles Leclerc gets a points finish after all of that. Takes 4 additional points away, so it could have been a lot worse for him. In fact, Max Verstappen, by having that disastrous pit strategy today, does not walk away with the maximum amount of points, which means that's another reason why the gap closes. And to be honest, the story of Max and Charles here is interesting because, you know, Max had the win in the sprint and Charles did not even finish. So, you know, for Charles to actually have some points out of this weekend is kind of successful for him. Now, here we go. 3rd and 4th in the drivers' standings is neck and neck, effectively. Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, they're both on 151 points. If Lewis Hamilton has another good weekend, he will leap ahead of Carlos. Lando Norris and Sergio Perez are next, and then in 7th, further cementing his position ahead of Fernando Alonso, is Skip. Getting into that top 6. where you would expect to see both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, both Mercedes, is going to be pretty essential. And my current rival, Sergio Perez, is the guy I need to be beating any which way I possibly can. I certainly had his number during this race weekend. And now there are 14 points between us. 1 or 2 race weekends, some successes could make the difference. We could see Skip getting ahead of Sergio Perez in the driver's standings. A quick look at the constructors. Ferrari comfortably in first place there with 355. Red Bull on 329, no moves there. Mercedes comfortably in third place now with 243 points. Very likely where that team will end up at the end of this season. McLaren continue their good run and are comfortably ahead of Alpine, and then a massive gap to the rest of the teams there. Williams yet to score, and Aston Martin only have 2 points. A good thing for Haas. Good thing for the Haas team there, being 7th. And 5 is back, and he's missed everything. Well, you'll be pleased to know it's a pretty solid weekend. 5, 2nd place in the sprint and 1st place in the race. We have looked over this weekend in great detail, and we can draw it to a close. All good in the rivalry, 6 points to 2. Kicking his butt. Massive improvement on driver acclaim. It's been a solid weekend. Thank you.
The contract renewal window has opened. We can try and renegotiate for a better deal with our current team, or approach someone else.
So this bit makes me nervous. The last time I did an F1 driver career mode was in F1 2020. And I ended up moving teams halfway through the season. Now, in this game, I believe I switched off a driver moves. Maybe that's other driver moves. Maybe I am still in the position where I have to renegotiate contracts. Here's the thing. I don't want to change teams. I want to stay with the same team throughout the entire season. So my options here for contract renewal is to either renegotiate with the current team or approach other teams. I want to stay. If I can get a better deal, great. If not, oh well. It was a rocky start, but I am consistently scoring points now. In fact, I've won the last 3 races. Which is why I'm going to move the difficulty up again a little bit. Let's have a look at these messages while I think about it. Francisco says, here's where we think our performance currently sits in the pecking order. The other teams are constantly bringing upgrades to the table, so in a few races' time this list could look very different. As you can see, Mercedes is still 3rd place right now. We have some parts in development. And there should be some more R&D to do as well. Let's just check in on the state of the powertrain here. The ICE is at 69 nice percent wear versus the 87 of component 1. MGH is 79 and turbocharger is 79. So we got through about 10% wear during the course of that race weekend. Certainly we'll need to think about changing those out over the next race weekend. Energy store at 7%. Which was a new one for this weekend, and everything else is kind of okay. So the outcome of some components is going to be made clear to us. So I don't want to put resource points into R&D yet. I want to see the outcome of the development of these components. I don't want to spend stuff now and then realise I should have held back and spent some stuff on getting the failed parts through. So let's renegotiate with the current team.
Here you can make salary demands to the team. Any extra over your base salary will go into your perk fund. The more you demand, the lower the chances of our success. Do make sure that you don't go demanding anything unrealistic for your acclaim level. If you do, the team might refuse to negotiate any more with you in this negotiation period.
That was my manager. We actually heard her speak. So we have a low, medium and high risk. So at the moment, my salary level is at $4.02 million. And my driver acclaim level is at 11. At the low risk, the team demands a level 9. So I passed that. So a low risk negotiation, I don't know about that. Let's have a look at the medium risk. Difficult to tell. 4.27. I guess I'm not going to know. It's only the difference here of like $100,000. Let's go in with medium, right? Let's see. Declined. My demands are too high. You can approach them again tomorrow if there's still time in the current contract window. Wow, how rude. So at this point, I can talk to other teams if I want to. But I don't want to. I want to stay here. I want a consistent season all the way through. So I guess I'll just have to leave it there. My contract has expired. I need to negotiate the contract again. Well, if they're not going for medium risk, then it's low risk, right? So contract renewal comes up next. So tomorrow.
Completed without issue.
Hey.
Be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Good. We've had some success with some of the replacement parts. So renegotiate with current team.
Great. They're happy to enter into negotiations with us.
4.12. 4.12. Low risk. Fine. I just want to stay with this team. Willy waving, not fussed about it. I have 150k in the perk fund, which I can't spend on anything here. Okay, you go for the larger contract negotiation. The difference between the old contract and the new contract you can put in here, and you can see what they offer to you. Driver acclaim will be boosted by 10%, engine wear reduced. I spent some stuff here on development feedback, so the resource point income would get boosted. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's what we get. So we've got a little bit more here on the R&D stuff within the current week. The front wing main plane and the cockpit weight reduction are set to be completed within the next couple of days. Let's take a look. Yeah, down from 4.17. That's the way it goes. I don't really care about it. They're both successful. And then we'll get the weekly resources. And then we start a fresh week.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
So 3,306 resource points here. Let's get in here and see what we can line up for the summer. So the front wing main plane is a success. Tire blankets and cockpit weight reduction are also successful. And the MGU-H improved materials is also successful. Considering we will need to replace an MGU-H pretty soon, that's a good indication. So, we're ready to spend. Aerodynamics has a normal morale, as does chassis, as does powertrain. Durability, though, is high. So this might be an area to focus our attention. Let's see what the recommended upgrade is. Fuel injection system efficiency. Improvements to the fuel injection system directs fuel flow more efficiently, which results in better fuel economy. It's 528 resource points. What about things that we can get under durability? Control electronics, energy store, improved materials. Then we've got improved materials through the turbo, MGU-K, MGU-H. No discount on that one. What about this? Improved materials on the control electronics. More resistant to wear. We've yet to swap over to the second. So that's worth doing, I think. Let's get that one booked in. Well, we have plenty of time to get this done. If we rush it, there's a 44% chance of failure. And it would be ready in time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, but I'm not worried about that. So we'll put that in the books for 2nd of August. And we'll also do the fuel injection system efficiency. What else do we have actually in the powertrain side of things? Energy store cells. Advanced thermal stability properties. Okay. Okay, let's get that one done as well. And again, we can get that booked in time for the summer break. 1,865 resource points left. And it's the energy store cells that's next. So again, more development here on the powertrain. Wow, I've got some expensive ones coming up here, look. Bloody 2,000, yikes. Well, 1865 then. We've now, I want to be careful about overloading any department. So we've got that in development over there, and we've got control electronics over there. I wouldn't want to put a second upgrade through any of these departments. So what do we got left on aero? Side pod profile. That's a massive improvement if we can get that done. The efficiency of the side pods can be improved via a reprofile, lowering overall drag. It's not the recommended one, but it is in a different department. That gets worked on through the summer break. Let's get that one in. 20% chance of failure. If it succeeds, it'll be on the car in time for the Belgian Grand Prix after the summer break, and in the vehicle performance comparison, it casts us in a particularly favourable light. I want that booked in. And that should unlock some exciting stuff if that's a success as well. So now we have 3 items. We have the control electronics, improved materials from the durability department, the fuel injection system from the powertrain department, and the side pod profile from aero. With a poorly renegotiated contract for the second half of the season, Skip at least knows that they will be with the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team for the rest of the season. And that's how we finish things up this evening. It's been longer than I expected. 5.5 hours worth of streaming this evening. We've had practice, then qualifying, then practice, then the sprint, and then the race itself. And it's been a very long evening, and it's time to draw things to a close. We are done this evening. Next time out in the Formula 1 22 season, we will be at the French Grand Prix. It's a bit of a boring circuit to watch in real life, but I enjoyed racing around this circuit in F1 2020, and I'm hoping for more of the same coming up next week. I think we did all right. Definitely time to change some components though. Coming up, this will be a regular race weekend as well, so there will be 3 practice sessions, then qualifying, and then the race. Kind of back to what we expect. We won't have to worry about another sprint weekend until we get to Brazil, which is some time away yet. And so that is where we leave things this evening. But maybe just one more thing. Where are we? Oh, I can never remember where it is. Hello, where are you? This is it, isn't it? AI difficulty. When I started this season, we were on 65. And then after Monaco and Azerbaijan, oh boy, we had to drop it. And after dropping it, there have been 3 wins in a row. This weekend was difficult. We had changeable conditions and stuff, but it managed to come through okay. Let's take this up to 60. Right as we tip from medium back to hard there. Look, between 59 and 60. This was on 65 when we first started the F1 season. So we were at 65, dropped to 55. Now we're splitting the difference at 60.
Do you have something else to do?
Yeah, go to bed, which is what I'm going to be doing next. Last race was really close, says 5. I know. We'll all right. Okay. I think the way that we handle this is the way all important questions need to be handled. Two minutes. No additional engagements per vote here. One member, one vote. 2 minutes for a poll. Where should I set the AI difficulty from here on in? Keep it at 60 that I've just moved it to. Maybe 59, as 5 is a magic number suggests. What about 58? Just because. Or, whatever, take it back to 55. Enjoy yourself. Don't take things too seriously. We shall run down the clock. So far, there has been 1 vote. Now there is 2, and it's a 50-50 split between 60 and 59. I don't have a thing for so I'll just have to do that. Poll! God, it's been a long one. Definitely need to get to bed. We have less than a minute left on the poll. For those of you who are awake and alert and near your devices, we have 2 votes so far on the AI difficulty. 1 says 60, 1 says 59. We need 1 more participant to try and split the difference here. Otherwise, we're going to be in a very, very tricky situation. Counting down here. Maybe about 10 seconds left here on the poll. There are still only 2 people who have placed their vote. Time is running out. And it's split between 60 and 59. It is an anonymous poll, so I don't know where that gone. Which means it's sort of, it's either a toss of a coin or I would have to make an executive decision. Chat, what's your view here? Because this is the worst of all situations to be in. That's right. I don't have coins, do I? Let's see. This is great, isn't it? It's just extending the life of the stream here. Is there anything that resembles a coin? You have the final vote, says Giddy Fam. I like the prime number, but you are driving. Right. Let's for a minute imagine that even though the difference between 59 and 60 is just 1, that there's something within the artificial intelligence that switches on where it wasn't on before between those 2. Let's do this. Let's set it at 59 for the next race. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then maybe the race after that, we set it to 60. And then we'll see what happens then. And conduct an experiment where lots of things aren't equal. How will a 59 compare to a 55? And then how will a 60 compare to a 59? We'll leave it there. That's more than enough dilly-dallying, isn't it? F1 22 is done for this evening. It will continue next weekend, next Sunday at 7 PM UK time. Do come along and join me for the French Grand Prix around 12.